Hello, hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome, witches. Hey, Maribel. All right. And if we could get on camera so we can go ahead and get started. But also, if you can't get to the camera, that's totally fine. But we'll be starting here in just a second. Um, all right, guys. So to get started, hi, I'm Nori. I am a shop witch here at Bronx Witch HQ. And for this year, I will be I have gotten the great honor to get to spearhead book club, and I'm very excited to be here with you guys and just to grow with you guys and continue this year reading books and just getting to know each other. So for today, you're going to notice some differences on the schedule when we get to that point. Um, and I'm trying to think if there's any other last minute things I want to share. Oh, yes. This is also my first time using StreamYard on the manager side and navigating all the pieces over here. So I just ask for some grace if you notice anything weird happening with the screens. Just bear with me. I'm learning too. But other than that, I'm really excited for today and I'm really excited for the conversations we're going to get to have in this space. So, with all that being said, let's move forward. All right. So, our agenda for today, we're going to do introductions. Everybody's going to get a chance to share a little bit about themselves. And then after that, I have a few opening announcements to give you guys. And then we'll be going into our discussion. And then after our discussion, we normally have breakout rooms that we go into and continue discussing and sharing about the books and what we're doing in our witchy lives. But for today, I want to try something a little bit different and I want to have a book club check in with everybody and just get a chance to hear some feedback from you guys on experiences with book club in the past, maybe some things you like to see done differently, some things you like to see incorporated, and just give you guys a chance to let me know what you would like to see happen in book club. And then after that, we'll have some closing announcements, and that will be the conclusion of book club today. And before I get started, I just want to know if anybody had any burning, pressing questions before we move forward. All right. And right before we get into intros, I wanted to take a moment to recognize and acknowledge the native spirits of the land that we're on. We are on Muncie Lenape land, and they are the rightful stewards of the island of Manhattan. And we just want to recognize that this is their land, this is their place, and that we are just occupying space as we're here in this moment. All right. So for introductions, give your name, pronouns, share any magical paths that you are a part of, and your native spirits, which you can find by visiting the link down below if you don't know who the native spirits of your land are. And then you can give a quick share of the book. What's something that has really stuck out with you so far? Maybe you want to share just how far you made progress wise reading, but just something that's really stood out to you so far about the book. So with all that being said, let me try a different little layout here. Ooh, I like this one better. All right. So I'll go ahead and go first. So I'm Nori. I use she, they pronouns. I am a self-dedicated Wiccan and an eclectic practitioner as well. The native spirits of my land are the Muncie Lenape people. And a quick share from the book for myself. Chapter 2, it was the Know Thyself chapter. My brain keeps coming back to it over and over again. And it's really stuck with me out of all the chapters in the book. And that's my share. And I'll leave it open to whoever wants to go ahead and introduce themselves next.
Hey, I'll go next. I'm Shanice. Everyone calls me Nisi. My magical path is Christian folk witch. Native spirits of this land are the Maui people. And as far as how far I got in the book, I am on chapter, I think, 8 at page 112.
Nice. I'm so happy that you're here, Nisi, and that you're here with us again. I always love seeing you. All right.
Hi, everyone. My name is Maribel. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I am an astrology and tarot witch. I've been practicing both since I was 15 years old. Um, my native spirits are from Dominican Republic, the Taino people from the Dominican Republic. And from the book, I think I've only gotten up to, maybe I'm looking through to remind myself where I've only got through the know up past the know thyself um chapter. But what one it's not so much something about the book, but something that happened after I got to the Apollo um
So,
spell,
yeah.
um that the rest of that week the name Apollo kept showing up in my life in different areas that weren't even related to this. And that was very odd to me because never have I been connected or been drawn to, well, in school, yes, through English class and stuff. And I like the mythology, but I've never been in my practice drawn to Greek deities. So to see that during that week, I was like, this is odd. So that I wanted to share that about my experience, and I want to keep reading because I want to get a better sense of what that could be about for me. And I haven't searched the symbolism, but that weird occurrence did happen.
Yeah, that's one such a beautiful thing to notice and see sort of unfolding in your life. And I'm so happy that the book was able to bring that for you. And who knows, bring another new element to your practice very soon. But I would love to hear more about that. And there's definitely going to be a chance to, elaborate a little bit more in the discussion. But thank you for being here.
Thank you for this is my first also book club, so thank you
Yeah.
everyone for being so welcoming. I'm looking forward to getting to know everybody and just joining in.
Yeah, no, we're so happy to have you here. All right. I'm not sure if Monica, if you're nearby, but if you would like to go ahead and introduce yourself. Yes, I see you're there. Perfect.
Hi, I'm here. This is my first book club. I didn't read the book, but I just wanted to join and hear about the book and what everyone had to share. My native spirits, I don't know, but my parents are from Colombia, so maybe one of those. But I think they had like a few hundred types of indigenous tribes, so who knows?
So happy that you're here, Monica.
Thank
I'm
you.
so happy you joined us, even if you didn't read the book. And that's the beauty of the book club. You can come either way. If you haven't read it halfway through, who cares? The thing is that we're here having some good conversation and growing and becoming better witches together.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. And now that we've done our intros, let's see. All right. So let's get right into it. So I've gone ahead and thought of some discussion questions. And you guys can go ahead and like read over them. But I also want you guys to know that we're not limited to this list of questions. If there's something in the book that like isn't explicitly asked right there, feel free to bring it up. If you have your own question about anything, also feel free to bring it up as a new discussion point. That's totally fine. So I would like to open up discussion first with, let's see. If I can find the page in the book. Is it just me, or is it when you're looking for something, it disappears? Because I
Yeah,
feel
it
like that,
becomes elusive. Yeah.
right? Yeah, it's gone. But I'm determined to find it. Okay, so on page 5, if you have your book with you, I just wanted to open discussion here. I think robust discussion is healthy. This is one way we learn, but to shut down others who think differently is a clear testimony to me that you are deeply unsure. I really, really like that line in the book because I find that the way society is currently the way we're currently moving, people tend to congregate around the groups of people that are similar to them. And people like to end up in these echo chambers where we're just hearing the same information over and over again. So we're feeling like, yeah, like I got this, I'm so right, like everything I'm doing is on the right path, whatever right path means. And sometimes we can get so caught up in just hearing what we want to hear that we forget that there's so many more perspectives. There's so much more to learn and to grow with the knowledge of other people. And also that truth is relative, and truth is a myth in and of itself somehow. So I wanted to just kind of draw our attention to that line, to one, keep ourselves in check a little bit, to just inspire us to look at different perspectives, consider different perspectives, hear what people have to say, even if we don't necessarily agree with it. And this is the way we grow and the way we get better. And I just wanted to open up with that. And with that being said, what did you guys enjoy about reading The Priestess Path?
Well, for me, so far, similarly to what I mentioned earlier about that deity being present, the other part has been the message of nature for me, and seeing like the focus on Gaia, and one of the practices that she delineates about going out in nature, and I forgot if it's with an egg or something. Doing that practice reminded me a lot of a meditation I did a long time ago, where it was about meeting your inner witch and what she looked like. And every so often I have kind of like a flashback to that meditation where I see this witch tending to the earth. And when she was giving this description of the practice and the ritual, better said, it completely brought me back to that, and reminded me that that's the element that I have to connect to the most.
Mm-hmm.
And how important it is to be able to connect to earth and honor that relationship, because it represents so much of the cycles of our lives.
Yeah.
And that was something that, especially now, at this stage of my life, that has stood out to me a lot in the book, along with the other mythos that she starts up to where I've read, has presented so far. All of that mythos stuff is very appealing to me, because I am the type of person that wants to know the background of things. I want to know where things originated from. And that providing that point of origin gives things so much more meaning and depth than just reading something about, hey, this is great for you. You want to be strong, you want to be, not that that's bad either, but it goes back to that word you used, Nuri, Nuri or Nuri. I don't.
You're a Spanish speaker, so you are
Yeah.
more than welcome to say Nuri. English speakers, I ask them to say Nori, but Nuri's fine.
But it goes back to the sentence you read about robust conversation, and it gives that robust lens to what she's talking about in the book, as opposed to, again, not that that's bad, but for me, it gives it that weight that it actually holds, that it deserves. So that's my share about the book.
No, I appreciate it so much. And just to kind of add to what you're saying, what I'm hearing is the why really matters. Like why is the lesson of being honest important, and how can I better learn that? And usually a mythos is a great way to get us to better connect to the lesson, the values, right? And I really liked her explanation of mythos in the beginning, but no, I fully appreciate what you said. And before we move forward, Cynthia has joined us, and Cynthia didn't get a chance to introduce herself. So I wanted to give you a chance to say hi. So give me just a second here. All right. So Cynthia, we did our introductions. We gave our name, pronouns, magical paths. We named where our native spirits of the land are from, and we gave a little quick share on the book. So take the floor, Cynthia.
Okay. I'm Cynthia, and I have my pronouns on there, she, her, and my magical path. It's very eclectic, but I guess if I have to say what it's heavier in, it's heavier with Wicca and Santeria, and but I do other stuff too. And the native spirits here are the Payaya people of the Wahiteko Nation. And my quick take on the book, as
Yeah.
you mean like, did I like it? How I like it? How much? Or
A little space for you to share anything you want to bring about the book. Something you liked, something you didn't like, something that stood out.
Well, I think I wrote one little thing under the book club thing that I liked. How if you take this path, or basically I just looked at it as the path that we're all taking, that we need to remember that we are in service, and not that other people are there to serve us, and so bow down to me. But we are, I really like that part. And then there were a few other parts I liked. And only one thing not that I didn't like, I just felt a little disconnect. Just because almost all of the things she used were Greek. And so pretty much. And I was like, are you going to mix this up? What you doing? What's going on? So, but I just was like, okay, it is what it is. So I tried to get to glean other things out of it and ignore that. Tried to ignore it.
Thank you for your share, Cynthia. And oh my God, you brought up such a good point, like pointing out the fact that all the mythos that were used in the story were Greek. Because I was thinking about that too a little bit. We're gonna get into it. So again, here's the discussion question, Cynthia. I don't know if you got a chance to see them. And we're talking about things that are also not on the list there. But just also based on what Maribel mentioned, I kind of want to get into the mythos a little bit. So let me see what questions I have there. First, I want to go to how she decided to define the word mythos. And I was wondering if you guys agreed with her definition or disagreed or had different views. And that's on page 14. And I'll also read it out loud. So she says, mythos is a Greek concept that simply means a story with a truth. It's not the modern idea of myth, which is a lie or like something that's untrue. I find it as often a deep and profound way to better understand life or to learn a lesson to make it better. And then I like the little next sentence she says, where I can tell you to trust yourself, but you'll remember that point much more deeply if I tell you through a story of Rhiannon and the horses. So what do y'all think? Do y'all agree with her definition of mythos? Do you think it's different, or I don't know? Any thoughts?
I'll jump in. I agree. It sounds a lot like how I think it's called a pataki in like the African ATRs, the African traditional religions, where that book that we read last year, Calabash of Cowries with Louisa Tish, it's like that. It's similar to, you tell a story, it has a lesson in it. You can see yourself in the gods or goddesses, and you get that little piece of truth. It seems like stories like that exist worldwide in all cultures. Like, we teach through stories, so having a storyteller in your particular culture is particularly important, because again, that's how the people learn. So I do agree with how she uses the word mythos in this book, and it helped me to get into some of the stories and want to like research some of them outside of the ones that I already kind of knew about. But she does kind of try to add people of color. There's Pele, there's Ishel, Ma'at comes up, and Yemaya comes up. So there is some, but it's a small sprinkle. But I noticed that too, with most of it being Greek. Greek and Norse.
Yes. I know, because I was like, if I see Odin's name one more time.
Yeah, and Cynthia, kind of on the topic of mythos, I didn't know if you had any other thoughts of her only using or majority using the Greek pantheon, and how that changed how you were perceiving the book or reading the stories, or I'm just very curious to hear more.
I had to just finally tell myself, because there are a lot of good things that she has in there, a lot of good nuggets and stuff. But I had to tell myself, so you can just get over it, get over that, try and get past that part, and look for the good that she has in there. And so there were some good things, like I particularly like the part on forgiving. I had to, because I have some issues around that. And so, I like that. And let me see, I have a couple of things I didn't write it down, but I put the thing. Let's see. I think when she was talking about that we can't, it's like we can't fully love ourselves or have self-esteem if we can't, what did she say? It's difficult to express. And I'll find the exact thing and then I'll say it again, because I put a paper there. But of course, like you said, when you go to look for that right there, because it's on page 53. I'm trying to think, okay, where is the page? Because I like, she was saying, well, like she said, self-knowledge begins by asking and answering both the easy and the hard questions. Thing that Allie did this morning, how you're asking yourself, and you have to be honest with yourself about different things. And I don't know the one line. I have to find the one line that really.
Oh yeah.
In that one, there is a line, and I will find it. But
yes,
the one with walking the path, and I think it's on page 79, and she has little bullets about with the forgiveness and all of that. And so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to keep going over those, because I do try to extend grace, but I will find myself, if you totally cross me, I'm gonna hold a grudge, and I'm gonna have an attitude, and I'm gonna stay away from you and remove myself. It's like, if you sit on one end of the table, I'm gonna sit on the other. Or if I have to walk out of a room or whatever, but I basically will just stay away from people. And I don't know if that's a good thing. I mean, when I'm reading this, a lot of them, I was like, okay. And then that one, I was like, girl, you have some work. So
yeah, no, you talking about self-forgiveness kind of also brings me back to, she mentioned holy boundary, like the holy boundary we have with ourselves a few times throughout the book. And with like that part of forgiveness, like sometimes forgiveness, is from far away. It's, I forgive you, but I'm not going to let you get the chance to do that again and do whatever it is again. And also with that holy boundary, and like that same chapter, it was when you were talking about self-esteem. She had said, 53? This is, sorry?
On page 53?
I can't remember. Not on page 53, but it was that.
I see the line that really got me with self-esteem. Yeah. It says, yes. It is difficult, because she was talking about, like, if the gods and the goddesses are there, then we're all a part of each other. And it's difficult to experience self-hate if you know that you have the divine within you. I loved that. I really loved that sentence.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And again, back with like the holy boundary part, right? She was saying that we build that power from within first, then to go out. And I feel like it relates to that too. Like, it's hard to hate yourself if you know that you are divine within.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really like that sentence.
Yeah. And kind of to like bring it to zoom out a little bit with the book again. What do you guys think after just reading however far you've gotten into the book? What does it actually mean to take a priestess path? Like, what even is that? What do we think it is?
For me, I think it's I like the name, but I even like disconnect from the name priestess, not for any reason in particular, more because I just feel like it's the path of like self-realization, but like from a balanced perspective, like from mind, body, spirit,
Mm,
um, and being truly aligned with who you really are, and living and practicing whatever your practice may be from that place of like source, from that place of like of groundedness. And when I saw that that was the first book in the book club after I joined, I was very excited because it's something that I think, going back to what you started with, Nuri, about the first thing that she says in the book, well, no, sorry, where you mentioned about the echo chamber, it's something that's sorely lacking, in everything, I think, in the world. But if we're talking directly in the spiritual community, sometimes it's lacking, and especially in groups, because people tend to end up becoming followers of a person as opposed to being given the opportunity to develop as their own version of their beliefs or their practice, as their own, and practice their beliefs in the way that feels most empowered for them, also taking into account these universal lessons that are in the book. So when
yeah.
I saw that like title, and I saw like the adjectives and the words she has outside of the book, I became very excited because I was like, yes, this is out ooh, this is what I can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sorry. This
Yes.
is what I need because I've been practicing by myself for years, and this book is a great opportunity to kind of like get deeper with it, get deeper with what it means for me, get deeper with what does tarot reading mean for me? Why do I read tarot? Why is astrology important? Like, is it just for, telling people about their lives? Like, no, this has more weight for me for some reason. Like, why do I light my candles? Why? So it's giving me like a mirror kind of thing. And I think that's kind of like what she's saying with the priestess path, like that constant like checking in, like, is this full of integrity for me? Am I serving? Who am I serving? Why do I want to be of service? Why does the earth matter to me? All of these like big energies, why is this all relevant? um and that's when I saw that title, I was very excited, especially at this time. I know I keep relating things to myself, but I it's
No, as you should. That's what
As
exactly
you
what
should, yeah.
I don't want it to be like, oh, me.
This is what it's
I
about.
get very
It's about you walking this
uh
path.
but especially at this phase of my life, this juncture of my life, it's very valuable that this book is coming in right now. So
yeah.
yeah.
No, thank you so much for that. And I mean, you said it beautifully. This book in a lot of ways is a mirror. And that
Mhm.
means it should be about yourself. Yeah. Um, and I love that we kind of, because I feel the same way. Like it very much has had me checking in with myself at the ends of every chapter. Like, ooh, am I still getting to know myself? Because I feel like as witches, we can get to a point where we feel like, oh, I do know myself. I've done a lot of work. I know who I am more or less, but there's always more digging to do. So I love that. The mirror, like this book is a mirror back to us. I think Shanice, so I want to say Shanice, but Nisi, I was curious, like, what were your thoughts on what do you think it means to take the priestess path?
For me, along with being of service, it's about sovereignty. Um, Particularly because I still relate to being a Christian, in the way that Christianity is taught, served, and given to people is from a place of disempowerment. That does not sound like it's a word, but it is a word.
Word.
I know English. It comes from a place of disempowerment. You're compared to a sheep. You are treated like a sheep. There is a shepherd that tells you what Bible verses to read, when to go to church, when to have consecration. Like, and while tradition and order have value, and they do still have value even in this priestess path, sovereignty is something that is not taught, and it is an art that is long forgotten, particularly for people of color. So it means so much to me that we are reading this book, because to me, being on the priestess path is about reclaiming that sovereignty. And more importantly, because again, I'm still a Christian, reclaiming that sovereignty in Christ. Christ does not want to see me disempowered. Christ does not want to see me giving my power away to some man who says that he's been to seminary school, which half of them don't go. Yeah, giving my power away to someone who says that he knows the word better than me, and that and experience as well. Being experiential in the path also means a lot too. Sorry, my kid is loud on his tablet. But yes, that is what being on the priestess path means. This book feels like it's a hug from the universe, and I really appreciate that.
I love that. A hug from the
I
universe.
know. I like that too.
Yeah. And I know we've shared a little bit about it, but I'm also wondering, like, whether it's a lesson, whether it's a spell, a task, or whatever the workings that she had in there, which one of those activities is really calling to you right now? Like, what is popping into your mind that you're like, I want to do this? Or what have you tried, if you have done any of the activities?
You know, there was one and I didn't mark it, or if I did, it fell out. And I'm gonna see before we end if I can find it.
Yeah.
But I really liked because I don't know if it was one for Bridget, if it was the one for Bridget or
That one's very appropriate. Impulse around the corner.
And so yeah, and then I had marked back here because she explains everything about Invoke, and I had marked that too in the back. But I'm trying to. It was a really nice one. It had a really nice chant thing to go with it. If I find it, then I'll bring it up. Sorry, y'all. All my things are falling out.
For me, like, one that really stuck out, like, was at the very beginning. It was the opening to, I can never say it right. Is it Gaia? Thank you. Where it was just like going into nature and speaking to the earth, and just opening up your senses to nature and just the experience of her. And honestly, like, that's the one I keep coming back to, because I think it's an interesting, like, I don't know what the word is, but like, it's just funny being in the city and connecting with nature in that way. Because a lot of the times I'll be like outside waiting for the subway, if it's like an outside station, and taking in the nature that's happening around me that way. And it's really interesting when you hear more subway carts and people yelling compared to like birds and the wind. And that has been an experience for me. But that's something that's been sticking out to me.
Same for me with the earth one, but I'm trying to remember the name too. Where is it? Oh, it's actually the spell for creation with Taroa.
Yeah.
And that's the one with the egg, and I said it wrong earlier. Because I feel really drawn to it, especially due to current things in my life of like that kind of like that metaphor of like creating new things, and I felt really aligned with that spell, and I've been thinking about it ever since. But I'm like, it's so cold here right now. I'm like, am I really gonna go to the park and like sit there?
You don't want to go put the hole in the ground? I see it on page 28.
I'll be the lonely lady in the cold playground with the egg. Putting it
That sounds like what we would be doing out there.
But that one is the one that's that's been calling to me ever since I read about it, and I keep reflecting on it. Like, this is something I should do. I should do that.
Beautiful.
I also like the one with Rhiannon when she's saying, "You were once like me. You doubted yourself. Fill me with self-trust." Somebody to be, and I because lately there have been some times when I've just not been trusting myself because things have been popping up, and when I try, I think that is something easy that I can take care of, and then it just like it blows up into something that, and I feel like I'm not in. I was just about to say I'm not in control, and then she talks about that in the book. Thinking you're in control over everything. I see everybody. She talks.
I
about
like that one with Rhiannon too. I like that one too.
Mm.
Yeah,
like
getting a little bit more self-trust. No, yeah, it was a chant, correct?
Mm-hmm. And yeah, she also has wait a second. Now, did I lose it now? See, I need I should have used my little tabs. You know how the colored tabs you put on the end? Yeah. I should have done that. It's something else. Yeah, if I find it again. I'm trying to find that other one that I was really, really, really liked. But yeah, I don't know. But she has there are some good things in here. I put away some of the other stuff, and I also but like Rhiannon and some of the other ones, I don't know. When I first started in Wicca, when I was in the coven, there were men and women, but when I first started and started really liking a thing and being really true to stuff, it was Dianic Wicca. And there, you don't learn about gods, you only learn about goddesses. There are no men around. And, and I think it was because I had just moved back to Texas. I was getting, I had left my husband, I was getting divorced, and I wanted no male energy. So this was the best thing in the world to me, to just go and be around women and then grow in my power, see other people grow in their power, and just did so many different things. And I don't know, I guess because like she tries to do that balance thing, with the gods, and then Odin. She keeps talking about Odin, and I'm like, good Lord, But she has a lot of gems in here. There are a lot of gems. And once I tell myself, like I said, girl, get over it, then I'm pulling out more of the gems, and I'm liking it. But
no, I'm glad yeah.
No, go on.
Oh, sorry. No, I'm saying that even though like there was a little bit of that resistance with all the stories being mostly from the Greek origin, that you're still pushing past that and still pushing to see the lesson in what's happening in there, which I love and I appreciate. That's what we do, right? That's what we witches do. We collect opinions, we collect perspectives, and we see where the truth is in all of that. And I wanted to bring us to this one point that I think I'm very curious to hear what you guys have to say. It's on page 101, towards the bottom. And she says, this toxic positivity. Wait, no, let me start a little bit before. So for some time now, especially in some aspects of the wellness and spiritual communities, there is a strange overcompensation where everything has to be all light, totally positive, and irrevocably blemish free. And a little bit further down, this toxic positivity, this reaching for an impossible perfection, and the quiet victim blaming that this suggests, where exactly has this gotten us? I would suggest that it leads us into more pain and confusion, guilt and suffering. What is everybody's thoughts on that? What do we think?
I have so much, so much thoughts, so many thoughts.
Yes.
I often struggle with this because I have my Instagram account for my astrology and my tarot. And sometimes I start policing myself and I start saying like, oh, don't post that. That's too dark or serious and stuff like that. And sometimes I'm like, F it, I'm posting it. It's, this is what I want to talk about. This is how I feel and stuff. But I think I agree with her 100%. When I first started this path more seriously, because I've always read cards and I've always done my astrology, but when I got serious about it, the awareness of that shadow aspect, of that dark aspect, became more and more apparent to me. It became more present and more like real. And
Yeah.
I started realizing that walking this path is what she says there, that integration, quoting Jung in the book, that in the integration of the shadow and the light, and that there are periods of time where we are in the dark for prolonged periods of time. But just like that, there are prolonged periods of time that we are in the light, and that there has to be space. There has to be lots of space for both to be present in both in conversation and experience. And when I do my readings, I always spend time with my clients with those aspects, not necessarily telling them, hey, now we're going to do shadow stuff. But I do spend time with them talking about those less favorable things so that they feel more at ease with themselves about them, and to reduce the shame around it. Because I think that, like it says about being blemish free, we want to be healed 100%. We want to feel good 100%. We think that that's achievable, and it's not. We're always, as human beings, we cannot be 100% anything. We're just going to be human beings. So that's the only 100% we get, that we're 100% human beings. And for me, like, I haven't gotten to that point, but seeing that is reassuring, because I've always felt, even growing up, that I had this, and now I know it's because of my abilities, that I had this like insight into the not so good stuff. And I would always see the shady stuff, the things that people don't really want to talk about. And I got in trouble with adults growing up because of that, because I was a little kid and I didn't know what I was saying. And I grew up with this like fear around it. Yes, like I could see the hidden. And I grew up with this fear around it. But this practice, even though I'm still learning how to integrate it even within myself, I'm by no means far in that journey. Uh, Slowly but surely, I keep being reminded of this importance of integrating even within myself, and kind of goes back to that self-forgiveness part that you mentioned, Nuri, and Cynthia as well. That self-compassion and all that stuff, because we are involved just as much in the process of kind of like demystifying that too, for people and for ourselves, because it doesn't fit with the truth that we talk about, or what she's talking about. If we don't acknowledge that, we're not being honest. It's not truth anymore.
Yeah, we're not being 100% human. I love that. Any other thoughts on the toxic positivity that we can see often in the spiritual community?
I was I had some thoughts on that, but it wasn't just in this. My brain wouldn't let me just stay in the spiritual community, because I saw something the other day, and it was they were talking about, like, as women of color, how people think that we're hard, or or they won't let us be soft because we're having to do anything. When you're out somewhere, you cannot be, maybe you're not smiling. You walk into a store, or you're doing whatever, and you're not smiling because you're thinking about all the things you have to do, and and just take care of, and whatever. And then someone's upset and thinking, like, you're an angry Black woman, or you're whatever it is, because you're not smiling and happy-go-lucky and all whatever. And it's just, you know, the whole talk was just kind of like, can I just be human? You know, I have issues just like you. I have issues like everybody. But why is it when I'm walking and I'm not smiling and I'm not being all, oh, everything's love and light, you know, and people are looking at me, side-eyeing me, or wondering, you know, what's going on. And she said it leads to more pain and trauma and stuff. And it does, because if you're always trying to do that, you're not being your authentic self, because nobody, hey, jolly all the time. Well, you know, and pleasing everybody all the time.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And even further, right? I think us as women, as BIPOC women, and as witches on top of that, I feel like we're even pressured, like on that witch part as well, to like have everything together. Like we just know how to walk through life. We're so empowered. We're so always put together, and everything's always going to go our way because we're witches and that's how it is. But that's not true. Not true at all. And back to what Maribel was saying, we need those times to go into darkness, into to let ourselves go into the darkness and let ourselves feel what we have to feel, do what we have to do so we can come back to the light. And even that concept just brings me back again to even the wheel of the year. And we can again see how everything is all interconnected. All of it is going in this cyclical nature for who knows how much longer. So
she mentions people pleasing in here too. I don't have the page, but she mentioned it. She mentioned people pleasing. And I saw Nisi shaking her head. She remember, you remember that part.
All right. So we're getting towards the end of our conversation. But before we end, I was curious to hear on our critiques, any criticisms, any feedback that we could give to the author if it was possible, something we'd like to see different in the book. And I know we've heard, Cynthia, what you had mentioned about the Greeks being used more so than like any other pantheons. And I was curious, did anybody else have any other kind of feedback for the book?
But when I thought about it, you know, she's not a woman of color, at least I don't think. And so that's at least I don't think so. You know, that's probably her thing, you know. So I gotta have to extend grace. But as a book, I liked it.
And I just ended up Googling it, and yeah, she is a white woman. But you're absolutely right, Cynthia. Like, yes, that is her. That's her positionality. That's her identity. So it makes sense, actually, looking at it now, that she was cool from mostly the Greeks. Yeah.
And you know, when I went with the Odin stuff and whatever, I figured, okay, like if you're practicing the Ma'at and all those 42 whatever, you know, everything has to be balanced. There has to be balance. Good, but you know, even with our emotions, all that, it has to be balanced. So I just thought it was pretty cool when you try and look at it. Yeah.
I love that. I feel like that really captures this whole book. Like this whole book, if it reminds me of the Temperance card. Like I feel like this entire book is us alchemizing ourselves to, just continue to be better witches, continue to grow within ourselves, and keep going into those cycles. You know, yes, you can continue to know yourself better, both in those dark moments and the light moments. You can continue to build forgiveness for others in those dark moments and those light moments. Thank you guys so much for this discussion and sharing. All right, so moving forward, here's the little book club check-in that I wanted to do with us. So we have some returners, we have some new faces, and I would like to hear what anybody has to say. And what I'm looking for here is what would you like to see happen in book club? What's something that you would like this space to have, or the space to do more of, or maybe to do less of? And this could be any feedback within the meetings. Like, do we want to have more discussion questions like that? Do we want to have less discussion questions? Do we want it to be more free form? Whatever. In the portal space, in the Coven community, do we want to see more discussion threads on books? What kinds of discussion threads? Do we want to like all commit to, I don't know, doing an activity together and like giving feedback on how that activity went? And also with discussion, anything you want to see different there, and just general feedback. So with that, I'll open the floor up for anybody who wants to share anything on what you would like to see happen. And I will be taking notes.
I like the activity suggestion. I do. I like it. Because that can be something that we can post in the portal before book club, or we can talk about it while we're here as well. So we can work multiple ways. And it doesn't have to be, expensive or whatever. We're witches. We do what we got to do and we use what we have. So,
yeah,
I like that.
I second that motion.
Love it. Okay, we can definitely have that happen. No, I love that idea.
I'm new, but I'm in support of an activity. That sounds fun.
Yay.
And regarding the questions, I liked the questions because it gave like a reference point to go back and think about what I read.
Thank you.
Now I will be honest about this. I wasn't planning on doing the next one. I think because I've mentioned before that when I'm reading tarot books, I'm like, what? And I don't know. It just doesn't, they don't pull me in. But I might just give it a try because I really like this group here. And so I like what you're doing there, Nuri. So I might just give it a try, give it a go, see what happens, see how I feel.
I'm gonna try to convince you, because I saw, and we're gonna get you here. You're gonna like it. Even if you don't, you're gonna learn something. All right.
As long as I'm learning, that's cool.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you guys for your feedback. Is there I'll take a few more seconds if anybody had a last minute add to anything.
I just want to say I enjoyed you being here, Maribel.
Oh, thank you so much. That warms my heart. It's coming at the right time. Thank you so much. I completely received that. Thank you, Cynthia. And I'm so happy to meet all of you and really excited about sharing more of these experiences and reading the next book. I promise that I'll be more, what's the word? More prepared. There we go. For the next one. I didn't know what to expect, so I was
More
like,
prepared.
You were on it.
Yeah, you did really good. Yeah.
I was just so excited, and I've been really needing to connect with other people in the community. So getting into the Coven and joining and meeting Alicia last year was so lovely. I had a Reiki session with her, and she said something that was just like, this is your new home now. And it was just like, oh my God, it was like everything was very synchronistic, and it was just really sweet. So that's all of this has been my excitement and just, really wanting to connect with people, and especially women. What you said, Cynthia, about having that experience, that was like, like that sounds like amazing. And I can completely understand that desire to connect with women, that sisterhood type of energy, and that feminine like healing that only women can provide to one another.
I'll never forget that experience. It was wonderful, for the couple of years that I was involved in RCG, and they had Festival of the Goddess. No men were allowed. It was just all women. You could walk around naked. You could walk around in clothes.
That's
You could do
beautiful.
whatever, you know. And you could bring a son if you were nursing and they were, I think, 16 or 18 months and younger, if you had to bring your son because you were nursing. But other than that, it was just all women, you know, singing, chanting, doing all kinds of stuff, making yoni prints. I didn't make a yoni print because I don't want my pH thrown off. But I did make a breastplate print, you know, and out of plaster. Well, I did that. But it was just, you know, it was great. It was just a great time.
That's awesome.
No, that is
Sounds
so.
like so much fun.
Yes.
Yes.
It was so much fun. It really was.
No, you're gonna have to give us more details as just time goes on, because I'm very curious to hear more about what you did.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. Moving forward. Let's see. So this is me enticing you guys for February, Cynthia.
Yo,
And here's a quick little share on what this book even is about. And here is a little description. So Tarot for the Hard Work is a provocative exploration of the 22 cards in the Major Arcana, and it re-envisions these archetypes as beacons that illuminate the various ways that racism can take root both in ourselves and in the world. And author Maria Minnis, with Compassion and Wisdom, shows us how these insights can be turned into self-awareness, self-love, and positive social action. So even though, yes, it is a book that is primarily tarot, I would argue you can read through this book, work through this book without even having to do a reading, because I've had a chance to give it a look through and just see what's going on in here. And the way she breaks it down, like she literally takes you through each card for a whole chapter, and within it, she has like bulletin points. It's kind of hard to see, but like bulletin points on some keywords on the cards, and it's made to write in. So like the book functions also as a workbook. Also here, I don't know if you can see it, but there's like a little pen to like write in here. So yes, it's tarot, but I think someone could work through this book without even knowing how to read tarot and still gain something valuable out of it. And that's my sell to you, specifically, Cynthia.
You know what? And I'm thinking in my head, okay, look at this as though it's social justice. It's going to be more about social justice. That's what I'm telling myself.
Yeah. And I felt like this was a very appropriate book for February, as February is Black History Month. And also just seeing the current climate that we're in just socially around the world and with all the events happening, I think this is the most important time to just grow stronger as witches in our ability to, one, be able to identify racism, and be able to, you know, defend against it and be like, okay, yes, this is happening, but not anymore. And this is how we're going to move forward about it. And why not take the tools that we already have that work so well for us in other ways and bringing them into more tangible fashions into just regular life, because we can. So why not? And that is why I'm really excited for the February book. All right.
Okay.
So some announcements before we end here today. So after this at 8:30, Allie is having her 10 Steps to Becoming a Better Witch webinar happening. And you can find the information through the Coven portal on events, and you'll get a link right there. I highly recommend that you guys go check it out and go see what she has going on. If you went to the first one, it's not going to be exactly the same. There's details that are different. She's done some updating already. So like I'm debating going over right now, but I do got laundry to do, but we'll see. So you will see me over there in a little bit as well. Other things we have going on. So February 10th, we have the book signing and private chat with David Chi over his book Spirit Voices. And you can, again, find the information for that in the Coven portal, on Instagram, multiple places. And I will definitely be there in person. I would love for you guys to tune in to the live or also make it to the shop if you're able. I'm really excited for the conversation, and I believe this is also another great way us as the book club can show up and show out when authors come. And I would love for us to really have a unified front as more people come to our shop to do book signings and chat with us. So that way we can motivate more authors to come and more, right?
Sure.
And last thing after that, so our next book club meeting will be February 25th, same time. We'll be reading Tarot for the Hard Work. And considering your suggestions and considering the kind of book this is, you can definitely expect to see some activity happening in the community, in the Coven community. I'll find an activity in there that we'll all do together, and we'll keep chatting and connecting that way.
Great. Do you want us, a quick question, do you want us to post like under general or to go under book club and post?
To go under book club, that would be ideal. If you end up posting in the general though, that's totally fine too.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments, or anything?
You did a great job, Nuri.
Yes.
Thank
you
Great
so
job.
Thank you guys. I really I really wanted to put a good foot forward for this. And something that keeps coming back to me is that we're doing this to serve others and for service. And I've been finding more ways to see how I can give back to the community just because Bronx Witch has given so much to me. So that means a lot. Thank you guys so much. And with all that being said, blessed be. Go enjoy your evening.
Thank you. Enjoy your
Good night,
evening.
ladies. Good night.
Bye. Good night, y'all.
Hey, Nuri, can I ask you something about this platform?
Yeah,
It didn't let me like just come right in. I think you had to do something for me. And then up in the right-hand corner, it says log in or sign up for free. And I've been on StreamYard. I mean, I was on StreamYard this morning. I don't understand why it's saying this or doing this.
I will definitely ask Allie about that because she's the StreamYard expert. And
I mean, I'll sign up again if need be. I mean, it's not like that's a problem. I could sign up again. It's fine. I'll just do that.
Okay. Yeah, sign up back with some updates. So either I'll find you some way and I'll let you know if there's anything else you might need to do to
When I got on my computer, it did say like the very first thing it told me was that my my web browser had been like not refurbished, but it was updated and whatever. And so I met that could be it. I don't know. I'm having issues with Thinkific. I just don't like Thinkific, but on my phone, it didn't update, and then it would no longer let me in. So I deleted it, put it back on, deleted it, put it back on. But now, like, I don't have it on my phone. I keep having to go into the portal on my laptop because this is tripping. My phone's tripping. As soon as I touch it, it just disappears. So I don't know. Something's going on, but maybe, you know. With Mercury retrograde, I don't know.
What I know that helps with Thinkific to sign in, I don't know what kind of email you have, but usually I've noticed if you have a Gmail account, there's a way that you can just log in with your Gmail and it makes it easier. I don't know if that might help, but yeah, I wouldn't be able to help much more with troubleshooting.
Yes. Well, it's okay. I mean, if I have to go on my laptop to do it, it's just like it was easy to have it on my phone. Although I didn't like it because it always kept making me sign in. I kept saying "save me," and it kept making me sign in every single time.
I have that problem too. I always have to sign in every single time. It usually doesn't leave me logged in, so it might be a Thinkific thing right there.
Yeah, I was reading some reviews on it when I had to go back and try to put it on. People were dragging them. So, but thank you. You were wonderful. You really were.
Thank you so much, Cynthia. I'm excited for next week or next month.
All right. I'm gonna try it because normally I'll skip it, but I'm gonna try it.
No, I know you got it. All right.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.